as we have investigated. So several portals, and the first news have to do with economy, and in a constant where the country is facing an aggression of the United States, and at the same time you are going out on the streets of the Venezuelan capital or other cities of this country, and the people are buying, people are going to the beach, people are dancing. You were just talking about dancing in the plazas, not only salsa but also rhythm. So I propose to look at three portals and having your comment on those and that situation, and let's start on it. The economy in Venezuela. The first subject is 71% of the Venezuelan homes are receiving some kind of subsidy, according to a study that was just published a couple of hours ago. It is also being said by official sources said that the consumption of meat is growing through the impulse of national production. It is not only growing, but it is also doing so by the national production. And a photography on the economy of the country says that the pharmaceutical market grew 20.66%. One has to remember during these titles that there is a constant where Venezuela is that these news were practically impossible in the years 2017, 2018, 2019. How did we arrive to this situation, and how is the country living this in the middle of the complex threats of the United States? Well, let's start this segment with a very good coffee. I believe that we have to say that the body that has been hit of an economy that got to an extreme point of weakness, it is living good moments of recovery, but that body has to continue taking care of during its recuperation. If we compare it to a person that at some point of the economy, it lost 99% of its nutrients, of its proteins. A person that from one day to another lost 99% of what it consumes. That's what happened to us. 99% of our incomes of a country that had 100 years depending on a stream, always important, sometimes very growing. The first stage of the revolution, we had a steady income from petroleum, and then a very hard war started against the petroleum industry and the economy in general. A war, a true war with several shapes that it was taking place against Venezuela. Not the components of the one of the main places has been the economy. The last time that I talked with Commander Chavez, if I remember correctly, on February 22nd of 2013, we had a meeting where Diosdado and Garrias and other two people were also there. It was almost 5 years. The commander had an analysis, and he told us a very hard economical war is coming. He alerted us. Why did Commander Chavez see that? Allow to me to ask that question. I really don't know the answer. I know that he was asking for data and he was following reality, but he told us an economical war was coming and it's going to be very hard. We have to prepare ourselves. And he gave me a set of tasks that I exampled them in many statements in the time. It was in a red folder that I took to him on March 5th, which was an example of how I was fulfilling those tasks as an example of the economics. So let's say that was what he left me, a set of tasks that I completed with that red folder that I was never able to give to him, and then all of the bottle that we gave as well, that had several shapes, but especially in economics. The economical body is new, but the recoup of the economical body that has been hit, and we still are missing some elements of balance that will be accomplished through phases until the full consolidation. Now, what is the growth, national production, the growth of commerce, of transactions, and the growth of the incomes of Venezuelans? Those are elements that have consolidated, and the tendency is that they will continue to grow. The production of foods will continue to grow. The industry, the pharmaceutical, and all that has to do with the satisfaction of the internal necessities of the country. The commerce has grown in a way that is very impressive, which has led millions and thousands of Venezuelans to integrate themselves in all of the chains of commerce, including the sellers who were previously called informals, and they always flourish in this end of the year. And Venezuela has an economical project, and it has the motors of a new economy. It has it. All of the motors are on, and they are growing, and we have to look for a great balance, which I have said that is a fundamental challenge for the months and years to come. I have said it many times this year, a great balance between what is the production, the national production, and the satisfaction of the necessities, and the production of richness in currencies, and the reduction we wish reduce to the maximum, and I would say radically, almost to zero, the imports that we don't need and that don't implement to the growth of the richness of the country. It is a balance point that will be hard to accomplish, but will be vital. So all of this machinery, this new economical body, is consolidated in a way that is strong and self-sustainable. Today, I can say that we don't depend on anyone. That maximum that Ortega said, let's only depend on our own efforts, let's depend on what we are, let's do our own things. That maximum here we are fulfilling completely, and unfortunately we have an economy that will satisfy and generate employment and incomes. Two questions to end the economical subject. The first one on this, President, you would also say that you have managed the political discussion inside the country is not only focused on the economical subject, or that political factors in Venezuela have left on aside the economical perturbation as a strategy of discussion. I say yes.
So the key economical factors of the capital in its different levels, they are working on the economic development, such as the business sector, commerce, the financial and bank sector. I think it was fulfilled, and I think it was understood that the economy cannot be in this scenario of the fratricide war by ideological elements and political ones. I think it was fulfilled. Now, it remains to be the economy a field of war for the U.S. empire, through mechanisms which are the mechanisms. You were saying these questions like a metaphor with a human body. You would say that the health of the economy of Venezuela in this moment, we are doing this segment about news in your program, is like from 1 to 10. Is it strong? And I believe that it is growing from 6 to 7.